Hi, gang. It's Patrick.
And Adam.
Coming up on today's episode, we visit Hollywood Studios in our feature segment, A Walk in the Park. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news, and we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Adam, Sunset Hummel.
Patrick, Pizza Fries Kazuki.
I love pizza fries so much, you have no idea.
I've never actually had pizza fries, Patrick.
I am reaching across the computer screen to slap you virtually.
I felt it virtually.
Good. They are so good. They're kind of the bastardization of poutine, basically.
So what you're saying is that Americans took something cultural and slapped extra cheese and meat sauce on top of it.
For the first time ever.
For the first time ever, we culturally appropriated something to make it our own.
Exactly. Well done, America. How are you, Adam? How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing?
I am hanging in there, moving forward. You know, that's all we can do right now, I think.
Absolutely. I'm glad to hear it. Well, as everyone knows by now, we are still recording remotely. That darn pandemic is keeping us apart, Patrick, and we are being forced to record via Zencastr.
Forced against our will, but here we are. We are surviving it.
We are surviving it, but I miss you.
Aww.
I miss being able to reach across the table and just gently stroke your cheek as you're talking about Disney news.
I miss that too, Adam.
You're so grateful.
I really am. I'm generous. I'm grateful that you are not here right now. That's what I'm grateful for. No, yeah, we are recording remotely. We are making it work with Zencastr. Again, if you hear any weird glitches, beeps, bops, orcs, ahs, anything from the Jetsons, really, then that's why.
Yes, it has nothing to do with our lack of professionalism. It's all about what's happening over the internet.
That's exactly all it is. I'm realizing now with my Jetsons reference that anyone under the age of maybe 29 will not understand that.
Shame on them. Know your animation history.
That's fair.
Thank you.
Well, Adam, before we move on, we have a new Patreon member to thank. Lucas has recently joined our Patreon family.
Lucas.
Do you think it's Lucasfilms?
It is absolutely not Lucasfilms.
Oh, okay.
But what I can tell you is that Lucas sent us an email, Patrick.
It's true.
And Lucas has been with us since episode 1, Patrick.
Is that a fact? Wow.
That is a fact. And Lucas is from Brazil, Patrick.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yes. So thank you so much, Lucas. We loved your email. We loved hearing from you. And we are so grateful that you have decided to join our Patreon family.
It occurs to me that Lucas has been with us longer than I have because I had to miss an episode. So technically, Lucas, you're our longest listener, including myself.
I should be considering Lucas for the role of co-host.
I think everyone should be considering that.
Yeah, let us know, Tweedles. Who do you want as co-host? Let's turn this into a reality competition.
Have you made some decisions in isolation that I'm not aware of, Adam?
Patrick, you will not be advancing towards becoming America's Next Top Model.
Oh, I knew it.
JK, Patrick, there's no one else I'd rather have as my co-host for this podcast.
Well, there's no one else who will be your friend, Adam, so it works out for all of us.
You speak the truth.
Thank you so much. So for those who don't know, we do have a Patreon page on our website. If you go to gaysdothed.com, there's a donate button that you can click. And for as little as $1 reoccurring a month, you can join our Patreon family, which gets you access to extra Gays Do the D episodes called Gays Do the D Raw and Uncut.
Raw and uncut.
It's always unsettling, but I love it.
I love it too. And you know, Patrick, I was thinking we need to record a new Raw and Uncut soon. And I also want to know from our Patreon family, like, are they even interested in Drag Race? Because All Stars just started, and there's nothing more I'd like to talk about than All Stars in Patreon.
Whether or not they're interested, we're going to talk about it. So I don't know. I don't know if it matters.
So there's your homework, patrons. We need you to watch All Stars along with us so that you'll understand everything we're talking about in Raw and Uncut.
Absolutely. So thank you, Lucas, and thank you to all of our Patreon family members. On that note, Adam, I just want to maybe lay out a disclaimer that we have recently had a few Patreon members reach out and say, you know what, times are tough right now. I have to stop my donations for a while. That is absolutely okay. There is no need to apologize for that. Everyone's going through a rough time right now. So please, all Tweedledees out there, there is 100% no obligation to donate to Gays Do the D right now. I'm sure your resources can go to many more places. But if you do choose to do so, just know that it is all going back to you, our Tweedledees. It pays for a lot of our giveaways, and it pays just to keep our lights on right now here at the Gays Do the D studio.
I concur with all of that.
Thank you so much. So again, thank you to all of our Patreon family members, and no worries to anyone who needs to put that on hold for a little bit. We still love you.
You know what else we love, Patrick?
What's that, Adam? Cookies?
Cookies and the brand spanking new Rainbow Collection available on Shop Disney.
We do love that. My bank account does not love that.
Ooh, did you do some shopping?
I did some shopping. You know what? You'll be proud of me. I only purchased 2 items from the collection.
One was for me.
It was not, but you can look at them.
I'm having flashbacks to 5th grade.
You can't sit with us.
The Rainbow Disney Collection has come out, and in recognition of Pride Month 2020 and in honor of the collection, Disney is donating $100,000 to GLSEN, a leading education organization working to create safe and inclusive K-12 schools for LGBTQ plus students.
GLSEN is one of my very favorite places to donate to. And every time I hear the word GLSEN, I can't not think of Beyonce going, GLSEN.
Same, Patrick. Exactly the same.
It's amazing.
So tell me, Patrick, what did you buy?
I bought the new sunglasses that are being offered this year, and I bought the newly designed Spirit Jersey t-shirt that has a rainbow Mickey pattern on it.
Who needs sleeves?
It does have sleeves. They're just short sleeved.
But they'll show off your guns.
They'll show off my lumps. My mashed potatoes.
I'll take lumps. All I have is like flab. Like I have wings going on at this point.
Okay. So I was talking to our friend Tony Sophie, by the way, and he outpurchased me. He bought, I think, one of everything on the site.
Yeah, I know. He went cray.
He did. I was very proud of him.
I have not purchased anything yet, but I gotta say, I love a lot of the items. I was talking with our Tweedledee Derek, who you can find on Instagram at Patrick.
Boy who has everything.
I want everyone out there to know that Patrick was mid-sip of his vodka when he stopped to sing.
It is not vodka. It is whiskey and coffee, Adam.
Oh, okay. Well... So I was talking to Derek, and he brought up an excellent point, and that's that a lot of the items, a lot of the clothing items are designated either men's or women's items, and that doesn't seem right. Come on, Disney.
Yeah, I don't understand that, especially because, and I think this is your point, that there isn't the same pattern in a women's cut and a men's cut. You can either buy this for a woman or not at all. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yes, that's what Derek was saying, and that's what I'm saying. It seems like all of the items should be available for everyone.
Save for, I believe, the Spirit Jersey t-shirt, which I think is just labeled as adult and not men's or women's.
And I think the red sweatshirt with the Mickey gloves and the Pride heart is also available for men and women both.
Here's what we're saying. Break the mold, everybody. Break the mold, Disney, and just make unisex Pride clothes.
Also, more belly shirts?
I was going to ask you, is Matthew purchasing that Spirit Jersey tee and cutting it off?
He would do that. He would
do that.
Anyway, a lot of the items are absolutely adorable, and your purchase goes to an excellent cause. So check that out on shopdisney.com.
Well, Adam, let's keep those celebrations rolling, shall we, with some anniversary talk.
I will talk about anniversaries until the cows come home.
Well, the cows are coming home quick because we only have 2 to talk about.
2 or moo?
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Technically, we only have 1 anniversary and 1 birthday.
Ooh, I'm into it. Tell me about them.
I will. So, starting with the youngest, turning 14 years old, released on June 9th, 2006, Adam's favorite movie, Cars.
Oh, Cars. I know there's a lot of Cars fans out there, and I know it is a beloved franchise, but it never really clicked with me.
I was talking to our Tweedledee and frequent guest Amanda about Cars. She just told me recently that she and Ben both watched it and they loved it. And my point of view, I think, was that I don't think it's a bad movie. I actually think it's cute. But because of the connotations that come with NASCAR and the gay community, I think that is what puts me off of Cars a little bit.
I get it, Patrick.
Also, Larry the Cable Guy, I can't with him. He's not on my radar as someone I support.
Yeah, I don't know where he stands, but just the kind of life image he projects does not seem to vibe with my life image.
Nor with, I imagine, a majority of the gay community.
Now watch, next week he'll come out as gay.
I hope so. That would be amazing.
Larry the Cable Gay.
Wow, you're on it today. You are on fire. And I hope no one puts you out.
All right. So happy anniversary, Cars.
Now moving on to a birthday.
Yes.
Turning 86 years old, Adam. Born or hatched on June 9th, 1934, Donald Duck.
Donald Fauntleroy Duck.
Boy, do I love Donald. My babe.
I had no idea that he and Goofy's birthdays were so close together.
They're very close together. A lot of the sort of ancillary characters coming after Mickey Mouse happened around the same time.
Those animators were just churning them out, trying to come up with the next big hit.
And they were spinning gold.
Spinning gold, Goofy and Donald. Yeah, I love Donald. I mean, I think of all of the Fab Five personalities, Donald's personality most closely resembles mine.
He is the one who does not resemble me at all, other than height, maybe, but I love him the most.
There's another way he resembles you, Patrick.
No pants.
No pants.
Donald, we're in a relationship, a pantsless relationship, and I'm here for it.
That's the only relationship to be in, is a pantsless relationship.
Preach, Adam.
Well, happy birthday, Donald.
Happy birthday, Donald, and happy anniversary, Cars.
In next week's episode, Patrick, we are going to have Chris from Wishful Thinking joining us. Chris is an authorized Disney vacation planner. So if any of you Tweedledees out there have any questions regarding a trip you still have scheduled, or just questions in general about what the parks are going to be like when they reopen, please submit your questions to us. You can do so on social media. You can DM us on Instagram at GDTD Podcast.
Or you can always leave us a voice memo or email at info@gaysdothed.com.
And speaking of questions, Patrick, one more call out for questions. We are due for another Questions and Peter Pantsers segment pretty soon.
Hooray!
So if any of the Tweedledees out there have any questions for us regarding Disney trips, movies, our personal lives, although why you would be interested, I have no idea, feel free again to send us your questions via social media or via email. And before I throw the mic back to you, Patrick, I just want to put out a reminder that Crooked Media has established the Coronavirus Relief Fund, which you can donate to right now by visiting gays2thed.com and clicking on the Coronavirus Relief tab at the top of the screen.
Oh yeah, coronavirus is still happening, isn't it?
Did you ever think the coronavirus would take a back seat to another matter?
Well, I never thought we would be dealing with coronavirus in the first place, Adam, so that's number one. But no, I never thought that we would have yet another topic that would surpass the seriousness of coronavirus. But here we are. I think maybe now is a good time to take a beat and address all of our Tweedledees out there that, yes, we here at Gays to the D are going to continue to produce new episodes. We had a discussion with each other, a very lengthy discussion with each other about what to do. Of course, we're talking about the protests and the riots that are happening across the country due to the death of George Floyd. And we're all finding ourselves in a very confusing time right now, right?
Yes, it's a very confusing time. I can honestly say these past 2 weeks have led to a lot of introspection on my part, and I have been questioning how little I have truly listened in the past and how I can change to better help the Black community and people of color. And for me, it's about education and really listening to what's being said and donating to the worthy organizations that are fighting to make a difference and not allowing another murder to turn into a story that gets cycled through the news before I move on to something else, right?
Absolutely. Very well said. To that end, One thing that we here at Gaze to the D have done, it's a very small step, but it is something that is within our power right now to do, is we've provided a tab on our website, gazetothed.com, that is serving as a space for community recovery and resources. And what we mean by that is that we have curated a handful of organizations that we believe in right now that we are supporting, and we hope that you will consider visiting their websites and expanding your education if you so choose. We have also listed places that you can donate to that are in need right now. And we are listing a handful of Black-owned Disney-inspired small shops and influencers. We feel like now is the time that we need to support the community any way we can. And sometimes that means supporting local businesses that are Black-owned. I think I myself have not given enough attention to these amazing spaces, and now is the time to start. We should have been doing it in the past, but we are certainly going to be doing it going forward.
That's right. Systemic change is needed in law enforcement and government, but also in the way I think and act. And Patrick, you might feel the same way. It is Pride Month. Everyone knows it's Pride Month, and it's a time to celebrate our community and those who support us. And I've been thinking a lot about the allies in my life who have really stepped up in the past and have offered support and strength and humor and love, and were willing to listen when I needed them the most. And it's time for me to repay those moments of kindness and grace by being a better ally to the Black community and people of color, and working harder and speaking louder against the injustices that have been forced upon them for centuries. Living in this world is hard enough. It's really hard. But I can't imagine how much more difficult it is when you are born into a system that is set up to work against you, and that doesn't offer you the same protections as others or the same basic human rights as others. And I need to work to understand that.
Absolutely. I am 100% with you. I think now is a time that we all need to take enormous steps forward in our education and in our support of all people, but right now, especially the Black community. When you do go to our website and click on that Community Recovery and Resources tab, and I hope that you all do, we have issued a statement that I would like to read right now. Gaze to the D is a safe space for everyone. We believe in freedom, equality, and justice. What happened to George Floyd was criminal, and we join the community in seeking justice for George, his family, and all people who have been affected by this and countless horrific acts of racism and violence. As members of the LGBTQ+ community, we understand the desire to be heard and seen and valued. Though we cannot compare our situations equally, we do have great sympathy and empathy for those in pain. Rather than offering our thoughts and prayers from afar, we join in the journey toward equality, justice, and understanding. To all of our brothers and sisters in the Black community, the LGBTQ+ community, and beyond, we hear you, we see you, and we stand with you.
And yes, this is a Disney podcast, but if we're going to promote ourselves as a Disney podcast, we also need to live by the principles and the experiences that we have while we're in the Disney parks, right? So, this podcast starts every episode with Walt saying, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome." And the world is not a happy place right now for so many, but we all have the power to help move it in that direction and to make that feeling of acceptance and love that we all feel when we're in the parks something that we can experience outside of the parks as well. Everyone is entitled to that. It can't be a privilege afforded to some based solely on the color of their skin. Everyone is entitled to a happy life.
Amen, Adam. Amen. So before we move on, we should say that we have also had a lot of conversations, as I was saying before, about whether or not we should continue to produce episodes while we are going through this as a country and a community. And we came to the decision that we do want to continue to be here, even as just a small moment of distraction for people, though now maybe is not the time to be distracted. But I absolutely understand. I myself personally sometimes need to take a break from the vastness of it all. If you choose to do so, we will be here for you. If you need to take a pause and not listen to podcasts like this, we absolutely understand, but we will always be here for you when you decide to come back.
That's right. Moving forward. Not only in this small way in producing a podcast, but moving forward as a community. We are moving forward.
Moving forward indeed. Oh boy, Adam. I almost apologize for being so emotional, but I think, nope, there's no need to apologize, everybody. Here's where we are. We are emotional, and we owe it to all of our Tweedledees and to anyone listening out there to be completely open and honest with you, and we hope that you do the same with us. We encourage you to be a part of the conversation with us.
Well, before we head into the news, we do have some happier news to share, and that is the winner of our very first Pride Month giveaway, our Week 1 giveaway, which was our newly released Pridelands t-shirt.
Hooray! I am so in need of celebrating Pride right now, Adam. This is exciting news.
For those that weren't able to see it, it features a Disney Animal Kingdom inspired design. It also features kind of a nod to a little animated film called The Lion King.
A tip of the hat, if you will, as you're doing right now on Zoom.
A tip of the hat, yes. So we're very happy to announce that our Instagram winner is Melissa, who you can find on Instagram at MayorWest3.
Hooray! Congratulations, Melissa.
Congratulations, Melissa and Patrick. We also have a Patreon winner.
That's right. All of our Patreon family members were automatically entered into their own drawing, and the winner from our Patreon family is Philip. Congratulations, Philip.
Congratulations, Philip. Congratulations again, Melissa. We will be reaching out to you to obtain your t-shirt size, and we'll get those t-shirts off to you ASAP.
Yes.
And as we bid adieu to Week 1, Patrick, we have to move on to Week 2 of our Pride giveaways. What is our Week 2 giveaway, Patrick?
Our Week 2 t-shirt giveaway, Adam, is inspired, I have to say. You have outdone yourself with this one. It is a nod to the phrase, Feeling the Fantasy. And in rainbow letters, it says, Feeling the Fantasyland. I absolutely love it.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited to give it away and to enter to win the fabulous Feeling the Fantasyland t-shirt. You can head on over to our Instagram at GDTD Podcast, follow us, like the post featuring the image of the t-shirt, and comment by tagging 3 of your Disney-loving friends, and you're entered to win. To obtain a second entry, repost our post and tag us at GDTD Podcast, or add it to your stories and tag us. Entries will be accepted up until 6 o'clock p.m. on Friday, June 12th. The winner will be contacted via DM shortly after that to obtain size info, and their name will be announced on our Monday, June 15th episode. Patreon members are automatically entered to win in a separate patron-only giveaway, and the winner will also be announced on our June 15th episode. This giveaway is in no way affiliated with or sponsored by Disney or Instagram.
Not even in one way, Adam?
Not even in one single way, Patrick.
Wow, amazing. Good job, Gaze to the D.
Good job, us. I'm so proud of us.
I'm so proud of us.
In addition to that, we also want to announce that all of the proceeds we receive from our t-shirt sales for the month of June will be donated to the Trans Justice Funding Project. The Trans Justice Funding Project is a community-led funding initiative founded in 2012 to support grassroots trans justice groups run by and for trans people. So just know that when you purchase any of our shirts during the month of June, your money will go directly to the Trans Justice Funding Project.
Well, I just purchased one of our new t-shirts online, so I'm such a good person.
An amazing person, Patrick.
Well, me being an amazing person, Adam, is not news, but we do have a lot of information that is news. What do you say we head into the news?
That transition was amazing.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
No, come on. You are.
You're right. You're right. You're not. You're not. I am, though. Hooray. Happy Pride, everybody. We'll begin the news this week with a COVID-19 update as it relates to Disney. As Walt Disney World preps for its upcoming July 11th reopening, thousands of cast members are being called back into work. Throughout the month of June, full-time and some part-time attractions and custodial cast members will resume their positions in the theme parks. Some will begin entirely new positions to fill in the gaps of Disney College Program and cultural representative workers. Depending on needs, around 80,000 employees could be returning by the end of the month. DVC properties will begin reopening on June 22nd. With that, housekeeping and food and beverage cast members are being called back starting June 14th. Smaller construction projects have also resumed operations, including the TTC Arrival Area, the Grand Floridian Walkway to Magic Kingdom, and the repainting of Cinderella Castle. On the flip side of that, as of right now, the Disney College program will not be restarting anytime soon. The logistics behind restarting the program, including figuring out safe lodging, make it unlikely that it will start up again this year. Additionally, it has been reported that with Epcot's July 15th reopening, there will be no cultural representative cast members working in the World Showcase pavilions because of their contracts ending short due to the pandemic. However, Disney is currently recruiting cast members for the program to work at the Mexico Pavilion as soon as January 2021. No word yet on other countries represented in the World Showcase. For the time being, it is likely that cast members throughout the parks will be assigned additional shifts within those pavilions. So that's some exciting news, Adam, and some a little bit sad news.
Yeah, but I think it's so great that Disney is recalling cast members and that we're going to get people back to work and feeling like they have a purpose again in bringing the magic to our lives.
And I have to believe that part of why they aren't recasting in the cultural program for the other pavilions is that there are still a lot of travel bans issued right now. And so I imagine it's difficult to get people into the country even.
Right. I'm just hoping, I'm sure it is, but I'm just hoping that all of this is being done with the utmost precaution and with cast members' safety top of mind.
Safety first. Moving on to current Disney World resort reservations, guests who had reservations between June 14th and June 21st are now able to go online and move those reservations to a different date. If they aren't modified prior to June 14th, they will automatically be canceled. Anyone with a reservation starting on June 22nd or later will still need to wait to modify their reservations. Though Disneyland has not yet released a date for reopening, they are currently accepting reservations beginning July 15th. All reservations prior to that date have been or will be canceled. With that date, there is no guarantee that they will be opening on July 15th. Disney Cruise Line has canceled all sailings aboard the Disney Wonder through September 14th, 2020, and all cruises to Alaska through the Disney Cruise Line have been canceled for the remainder of the year. Due to the cancellations, Disney Cruise Line is extending future cruise credits for guests through March 2022. Lastly, some sad news. The Pearl Factory, located in the marketplace across from Trendy in Disney Springs, has closed permanently, making this the first retail location to do so since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, that's so sad to hear. It's tough to lose those businesses.
Oh, for sure. I'm actually a little bit surprised that more haven't closed permanently. But in a good way. I'm pleasantly surprised, I guess, that this is the first and only one so far. I imagine there may be a few more in the future, but as of right now, a majority of the businesses seem to be doing okay.
Well, Patrick, I applaud the fact that you were able to deliver COVID-related news in under 5 minutes.
Maybe it's a good sign, Adam. Things are looking up.
Either that or you're talking faster now.
I have been working on my speed talking. I'm watching a lot of Gilmore Girls.
Oh. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a huge athletic supporter.
Well, okay. I can support that statement.
So it should come as no surprise, Patrick, that I would jump shot at the chance to cover this next story.
You don't even know what you just said, do you?
What's a jump shot? I don't know. The NBA, that's the National Basketball Association for all you band geeks and drama nerds out there.
You had to look that up, didn't you?
What I do in my personal time in preparation for the podcast is none of your business, Patrick.
I can see you on Zoom, Adam, and I was watching you carefully reading that statement.
The NBA, Patrick. That's the National Basketball Association, you dweeb, which had suspended its season on March 11th after a number of players and league figures tested positive for COVID-19, is set to restart its 2019-2020 season at Walt Disney World Resort on July 31st at the resort's ESPN Wide World of Sports complex, which offers more than a dozen basketball courts with broadcast-ready facilities. According to a June 4th The Orange County Register article, quote, under the NBA bubble campus plan, games would be closed to the public with only teams, broadcast crews, and essential personnel allowed in the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex. Each of the 22 returning teams would play 8 seeded games as selected from its remaining regular season matchups. At the conclusion of the seeding games, the 7 teams in each conference with the best combined records across regular season games and seeding games would qualify for the playoffs. Patrick, I have no idea what I just said.
Okay.
And in the gay community, seeding game means something completely different.
It means something very different, and I hope they incorporate at least a little bit of that into this.
Just a soupçon of seeding games. According to an official statement by the NBA is working with infectious disease specialists, public health experts, and government officials to establish a rigorous program to prevent and mitigate the risk related to COVID-19, including a regular testing protocol and stringent safety practices. In addition, Disney and the NBA have agreed to use the Coronado Springs Resort as the primary housing area during the Disney World-based season. It's unlikely that players will be allowed to visit the resort's parks during regular operating hours, but Patrick, it's highly likely that I will be applying for a job as an in-room masseur at Coronado Springs Resort this summer.
I've already accepted a position, multiple positions.
Well, you are versatile that way.
Yes, I am. This past week, Disney issued a message to its cast members addressing George Floyd's death and the current unrest in the country. A part of the message reads, "The recent killing of George Floyd, as well as other instances of lethal attacks and harassment of unarmed Black citizens in our nation, continue to drive outrage and calls for action by people of all cultural backgrounds, including many of our employees. Feelings of grief and anger cause us to confront the inscrutable idea that the lives of some are deemed less valuable and less worthy of dignity, care, and protection than the lives of others." It goes on to say, "We too are struggling to make sense of the recent tragedies that leave us feeling overcome with sorrow. While we don't have all the answers, we resolve to use our compassion, our creative ideas, and our collective sense of humanity to ensure we are fostering a culture that acknowledges our people's feelings and their pain. We also realize that now, more than ever, is the time for us all to further strengthen our commitment to diversity and inclusion everywhere. We intend to focus our efforts and resources to compassionately and constructively talk about these matters openly and honestly as we seek solutions. We intend to keep the conversation going not just today, but for as long as it takes to bring about real change." The message is signed by CEO Bob Chapek, Chairman Bob Iger, and Chief Diversity Officer Latondra Newton. In addition to this, Disney posted on many of its various social media accounts the following statement: "We stand against racism. We stand for inclusion. We stand with our fellow Black employees, storytellers, creators, and the entire Black community. We must unite and speak out." The Walt Disney Company then went on to announce a $5 million commitment to help nonprofit organizations that advance social justice, beginning with a $2 million donation to the NAACP to support their advocacy and education programs. Of the financial commitment, Bob Chapek stated, "It is critical that we stand together, speak out, and do everything in our power to ensure that acts of racism and violence are never tolerated." Disney also reminded its employees that they will match employee donations to eligible organizations.
Good for Disney, but I think they can also do more.
Fair. I have a hunch that they will expand this and are seeking ways to broaden their commitment to the Black community. I don't know that for sure, but it seems likely that they will.
I'm being hard on something I love, obviously, but I just want them to really be forward thinking and really get out ahead of this and be the company that is going to kind of take initiative and lead the way and be an example for other companies.
I don't think you're being hard at all on them. I think enormous companies like Disney need to be put in the spotlight and under the microscope right now. And let's be clear, they have a lot of work to do in just representing all cultures in their movies and their television programming. They have a long ways to go, but hopefully this is a small step forward for them.
Something exciting is brewing at Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company.
I see what you did there.
The official specialty coffee of Walt Disney World Resort, Disneyland Resort, and Disney Vacation Club, which is available in-room where coffee is served, Joffrey's locations, and signature restaurants at Disney parks and resorts, can now be enjoyed from the comfort of your own home with Joffrey's new subscription service.
Ooh, I love a service.
Joffrey's After Hours. The Disney Specialty Coffee Collection invites you to relive your most memorable Disney moments with a monthly rotation of 3 of Joffrey's specialty coffee blends inspired by Disney parks and resorts. Caffeine junkies can purchase a 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month subscription for $43.69 a month and experience such flavors as French Roast in-room, Artist Point, Hollywood Brown Derby, Carthay Circle Restaurant, and Chico, the cooking place, and that's just to name a few. To learn more about Joffrey's Disney Specialty Coffee Collection subscription service, visit joffreys.com/collection.
Have you subscribed yet, Adam?
I haven't, but I'm awfully tempted, Patrick. I love waking up to a little packet of Joffrey's in some hot water at a Disney resort.
I actually really love Joffrey's coffee as well. I think I might pull the trigger and subscribe to this. Here's what I'll say, though. If your fondest memories at Disney circles Joffrey's coffee, I feel like you're missing a lot of it. I think you're missing a lot of Disney. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Patrick.
You know, we're about halfway through our episode now. We've only cried about 3 times. I think we're doing well.
Yeah, we are really containing our emotions this week. I'm proud of us.
Yeah, I'm proud of us as well. As you remember, we reported that Disney World is going to be opening its doors once again in the near future.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. And I thought this week, Adam, why don't you and I start a refresher course in what even exists in Disney World right now?
It's tough to remember, isn't it?
It's tough to remember, so we're going to take another walk in the park, this time through Hollywood Studios.
I'm thrilled, Patrick. Record it. I'm thrilled because Hollywood Studios is one of my very favorite parks.
Yes, I would say it is my favorite park.
Well, now I feel a lot of pressure to be incredibly insightful and funny in this episode.
I don't ever want you to feel that pressure. You've never done it before.
Why start now?
Why start now? You know, as we were talking about our notes for this episode, we realized that though Hollywood Studios is the smallest of the 4 parks, it has a lot packed in it.
That's right. To paraphrase Shakespeare, though she be little, she be mighty, or is it though she be small, she be mighty? Anyway... Disney's Hollywood Studios is not that large, but man, oh man, is there a lot going on in that park.
She certainly packs a punch. So instead of trying to get through the entire park in one episode, we are going to dissect the park into 3 sections, and we will do 3 separate episodes of a walk in the park through Hollywood Studios.
That was your suggestion, and it was very smart.
Well, that is not surprising.
I feel like I should be making a joke here, but I'm not going to. You're a smart guy, Patrick. I'm going to celebrate it.
I like Pride Month, Adam. He's very nice to me. So before we jump into our walk, let's take a second maybe and go through just a brief history of Hollywood Studios in general. What do you think?
I've said it before and I'll say it again, Patrick. You can't know where you're going until you know where you've been.
And to quote Delta Burke in Designing Women, no matter where you go, there you are.
You know, I love and truly embrace a Suzanne Sugarbaker moment on this podcast.
I do know. That was just for you, Adam.
Thank you.
So Hollywood Studios, as you may know, officially opened in 1989 under the original name Disney MGM Studios, making it the 3rd of the 4 major Walt Disney World theme parks.
I remember that opening well, Patrick. I was not there, but I remember it happening, and I remember being so excited about the fact that I was going to be able to experience a working movie studio.
Oh, for sure. I absolutely remember seeing some of those ads for it on TV, though I never got to go to Walt Disney World. A boy dreamed, Adam. A boy dreamed.
Do you remember the ad with all of the men and women dressed all in white? The guys were in white tuxedos, and the women were in kind of like white ball gowns, and they were dancing down Hollywood Boulevard?
As a homosexual, Adam, I of course remember that.
That moment truly shaped you, didn't it?
It really did. So a fun fact about the origins of the park, Disney Imagineers Marty Sklar and Randy Bright were given an assignment to create 2 new pavilions for Epcot's future world, which led them to creating Wonders of Life and the Great Movie Ride. And when Michael Eisner saw the plans of the Great Movie Ride, he loved it so much, he requested that instead of installing it in an existing park, that Disney should just create an entire new park centered around the theme of the Great Movie Ride.
God bless Michael Eisner.
Yeah, can you imagine if he didn't have that foresight?
I can't, and I really can't imagine a Great Movie Ride pavilion in Epcot. It just doesn't fit.
Yeah, good point.
Like Future World to me is all about kind of science and the future. I don't know where I pulled that from, but the Great Movie Ride, I just don't get where that would fit within the pavilions of Future World.
Fair enough, fair enough. This is just a really good example, though, of what Disney really does best is they are able to instantly recognize a good idea and just blow it up.
Why create a single pavilion when you can spend billions on a theme park?
It's true. They are not afraid to take a risk, and this paid off for sure.
It did. Eventually. Yeah, it did. So the park was originally designed as a theme park inspired by show business with an operating production studio, and it had active film and television production services, an animation facility, and a functioning backlot containing the Golden Girls house.
I love that that's what you pulled out of it to highlight.
The highlight of the backlot tour. So to increase public interest and the variety of film representation within the park, Disney actually entered into a licensing agreement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, or MGM. So they wanted to have more in this park than just Disney represented. They want to be able to pull from those classic films that we all know and love, and that's why they entered into that agreement with MGM. And the park we know today, Patrick, Disney's Hollywood Studios, is vastly different from what Disney MGM Studios was when it first opened. For instance, Patrick, when the park opened, it featured a Star Today program, and that was basically like a daily celebrity guest they would bring and would be featured in a parade along Hollywood Boulevard, and he or she would also have a handprint ceremony in front of the Chinese theater, and there would be like an interview session with that person. It was all about celebrating current Hollywood icons. And throughout the years, before it became Disney's Hollywood Studios, the park also featured non-Disney characters. You know, we mentioned that they entered into that licensing agreement with MGM, but Disney also entered into agreements so that they could feature characters like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ace Ventura Pet Detective. Patrick, we mentioned on a previous episode that characters from the Goosebumps series by author R.L. Stine were featured. And the park also featured the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And all of these were because Disney reached out to other companies and asked to use those characters in Disney MGM Studios. And as I mentioned too, Patrick, it was a functioning film studio, right?
That's right. In fact, prior to officially opening the park, both Ernest Saves Christmas and Newsies were filmed on property.
Newsies, Patrick.
Newsies. I knew I had a connection with Hollywood Studios in my sexual awakening, and it's because Newsies was filmed there.
God, what a park. Newsies, the Golden Girls house, Ernest Saves Christmas.
Does it get better than that? It does not.
It does not. It does not get better than that.
So once the park actually did open, of course, a slew of movies and TV shows were produced there, including Mulan, Lilo and Stitch, Brother Bear, The Mickey Mouse Club, Let's Make a Deal, MTV's Remote Control, and Thunder in Paradise, among many, many others.
Thunder in Paradise, that was the kind of after-hours, late-night cable show, wasn't it, about the stripper cop?
You are thinking about my fans-only website.
I sure am.
Yeah. So then in 2004, then CEO Michael Eisner downsized the production operations there in the park, and he closed the animation studio completely and moved everything to Burbank, California.
I have mixed emotions about that decision. I remember taking a tour through the animation building, and it was so charming and really gave you a great idea of how Disney produced animated films.
Yeah, I would have really loved to have experienced that part of the park, but I understand that they were sort of under the demand of audiences, that they just wanted more attractions and less of a history lesson.
Yeah, I get it.
So as you said, Adam, we no longer call it Disney MGM Studios. We now call it Hollywood Studios. In 2008, the park removed all MGM branding, and the name was officially changed to Hollywood Studios. An interesting bit of info is the legal wars that immediately popped up between Disney and MGM when the parks first opened around naming rights and usage, which honestly could be an entire episode in itself.
Don't mess with MGM.
Apparently not. So in short, the two obviously parted ways, and we now know the park as Hollywood Studios.
That's right. And today the park kind of is about immersion, right? And theming and putting guests in the movies.
Yes, but they still hold on to that sprinkling of the golden age of Hollywood.
Thank goodness. I love that element of the park.
Oh, same here. Absolutely. And I believe, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Hollywood Studios is the only Walt Disney World theme park to have changed its main icon.
I'm processing. That sounds absolutely correct. It's had several different icons in its history.
Yes, the original icon for the park was the Earful Tower, which no longer exists. It then changed to the Sorcerer's Hat from Fantasia, which was a big installment in the park that was revealed in 2001 right in front of the Chinese theater. It was then removed in 2015, and I believe the current icon is the Tower of Terror.
That's right. A lot of people were really upset when they removed that Sorcerer Mickey hat, and I get it. Like, it was a recognizable feature within the park. But it was never meant to be a permanent installation. And come on, everybody, when you think of Hollywood Studios, you think of the Tower of Terror.
You do think of the Tower of Terror. Interestingly, though, the Chinese theater is sort of the center of the park, and most of the other Walt Disney World park icons are that center image. And the Chinese theater, I don't believe, has ever been the icon of the park.
That's right. It's the weenie. I think it may have been for a little bit of time, but yeah, it was not like an extensive period of time. I think it was just a transitional icon for a while. But yeah, I mean, you'd think that it would be the Chinese theater, but no, now it's the Tower of Terror.
Indeed, it is. So when the park first opened in 1989, the only two operating attractions were the Studio Backlot Tour, which was a part walking tour, part tram tour of the Backlot Studio, and then, of course, the Great Movie Ride, which was a dark ride tour through famous classic movie scenes like The Wizard of Oz, Casablanca, and Mary Poppins. Both attractions have since closed. But a few months after the park opened, the improv troupe, the Citizens of Hollywood, were added as Streetmosphere, and they are now the longest-running attraction or entertainment element in the park.
We have to talk about them when we start walking, Patrick.
We can talk about them anytime you want, Adam.
I love them so much, I want them to never, ever go away.
Absolutely, same here. Well, with that, Adam, what do you say we begin our walk in the park of Hollywood Studios?
I brought my tennies. I'm ready to walk.
Smart decision. So here's what I love about the park. Before you even enter the park, you're immediately hit with the theming of Hollywood Studios. In fact, the ticketing and turnstile area are almost an exact replica of the Pan Pacific Auditorium, which was the premier location for indoor public events in Los Angeles from 1935 through 1972. It's really beautiful.
It is gorgeous. If you are a fan of retro design, it is stunning. And Patrick, I'm going to be so bold as to say that this is the most beautiful park ticketing entrance gate area of all four parks in Walt Disney World.
I would absolutely agree with that. I think a lot of the other ones are sort of generic in their appearance, and this is really beautiful, beautiful work.
Immediately sets the mood with that teal and the red and the chrome. It just immediately gives you the vintage old Hollywood style of the park.
Absolutely. And with that comes the beautiful music that's playing right outside the park, too, of sort of current and classic Disney songs set to sort of a jazz standard type of music.
Don't even get me started, Patrick. I love that big band twist on Disney classics.
I need a soundtrack of that. I wish that they sold that somewhere.
Have we looked for one on YouTube, like just kind of a background loop? I'm sure there is one.
There's gotta be. There's gotta be. So after you pass through those turnstiles, you will come to Hollywood Boulevard. It is very reminiscent of Main Street in Magic Kingdom in that it's lined with shops and it's designed to be your transport sort of into the world of the park. It's themed after the real Hollywood Boulevard during the golden age of Hollywood. And right in the center, before you start walking down Hollywood Boulevard, is the Crossroads of the World Tower, which again is almost an exact replica of the tower found on Sunset Boulevard. The main difference, of course, in appearance is that this one has a Mickey Mouse standing on top of the globe, which, fun fact, Adam, acts as a lightning rod.
Mickey is always willing to take a hit for the safety of the guests.
Yes, he is. Thank you, Mickey.
Patrick, is there anything better than the view when you pass through those gates? I mean, you see the tower, fabulous. You get that gorgeous shot right down Hollywood Boulevard, and you see all the amazing pastel colors, the chrome. You just feel like you're in a Hollywood that kind of never was, but we all have in our fantasy, right?
That's a really great way to say that. It definitely feels like a dreamland version of Hollywood.
To the right of the Crossroads of the World Tower, you will see Oscar's Super Service, and that's where y'all with kids can pick up your strollers, and if you need a wheelchair, you can rent wheelchairs there, and you can also pick up your packages that you purchase throughout the day. You can have them delivered there while you're in the park, and then pick them up as you leave the park at the end of the day.
It's true. It's a really good photo opportunity as well. It's super cute and themed like an old-timey gas station, basically. So to the left...
To the left, everything you own in the box to the left.
Wow. That was an amazing quote. Wasn't expecting that, but thank you so much, Adam. To the left of the tower, you will find a baby care center and lost and found, as well as Sid Cahuenga's one-of-a-kind antiques and curiosities, which is where, when it's open, I don't believe it's always open. I think it's maybe open seasonally. One of our Tweedledees, I'm sure, will correct us in that. But when it's open, you can purchase or pick up your PhotoPass photos, and you can purchase an assortment of souvenirs mostly centered around art. And there's a super fun backstory that the building is a replica of Sid and Rose Cahuenga's house in Hollywood, where they sold photos and movie antiques, which, of course, was totally invented by Imagineers, but it gives it that extra bit of magic. I love that.
Another fun element that the Imagineers built into their backstory was that Sid and Rose used to host just wild key parties.
I think you're thinking of Sid and Nancy, Adam.
Oh, is that Sid and Nancy? Were they known for their key parties, Sid and Nancy?
They were known for a different kind of party, maybe.
Well, Patrick, let's head further down Hollywood Boulevard because we need to do some shopping.
Yes, we do. And here's where you can do all of your shopping, basically, within the park.
What do we got? We've got Celebrity 5 and 10. We've got Mickey's of Hollywood. We've got Keystone Clothiers. So at the Celebrity 5 and 10 and Mickey's of Hollywood, you can get your character gifts and your park souvenirs. And Keystone Clothiers actually just kind of rethemed itself and now sells Star Wars-inspired merchandise.
Yes, it's basically any Star Wars-themed merchandise that you can't purchase in Galaxy's Edge.
Stuff that is not made on Batuu. And actually, the last time I was in there, they were also selling stuff that was made on Batuu.
Oh, really?
Remember when they weren't going to do that? They're doing it now.
Oh, that's a little disappointing, but whatever. But that being said, if you do want to get your Star Wars themed merchandise, look for it here, not in Galaxy's Edge, because in Galaxy's Edge, they only sell specific Batuu themed items.
That's right, Patrick. Artisanal Chewbacca's.
It sounds delicious when you say it that way.
Yeah, but the hair in your teeth, it requires some flossing.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's hair.
Wow. Wowee. So right across from Keystone Clothiers is where you'll find the Trolley Car Cafe, a.k.a. Starbucks.
Can't have a Disney park without a Starbucks in it.
You sure can't. You sure can't. It's actually really beautiful inside. Have you ever been inside of there?
I have. It's very popular.
It is very popular. It's designed to look like an old trolley car station, and it's actually really enormous inside as well. And they have tons of baked goods and treats and, of course, a Starbucks.
They also sell those really cute Disney park-themed mugs. and additional branded merchandise. It's like that crossover cute stuff that Disney and Starbucks produces together.
Yes, the You Are Here mugs.
You are here.
I'm right here, Adam, and I'll be here for the next who knows when.
So we got our coffee. Where are we heading, Patrick?
Well, Adam, I think we should take a hard right. What do you say? And head down Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard. Mythic Boulevard.
Is that Glenn Close?
She doesn't actually sing that song, but I thank you so much for thinking that I look like Glenn Close. She's gorgeous.
If there's one person you remind me of, Adam, it's Glenn Close. If there's two people, it's Glenn Close and B. Arthur.
That's a hell of a mix, Patrick. That's a hell of a mix. Okay, but before we head down Sunset Boulevard, Patrick, can we pause here for a moment and pay homage to the citizens of Hollywood?
Absolutely. Good place for that.
This is where I feel like you kind of see them usually. It's right when you take that hard right down Sunset Boulevard, and I'm so happy when I come across them. So as Patrick mentioned earlier, they are Streetmosphere performers that have been there since opening day of the park.
Opening day-ish. They were installed about a month or two after the park officially opened.
Oh, I can't keep track, Patrick.
Opening day adjacent.
They're opening day adjacent. They perform magic and skits, and they interact with guests, and it's usually hilarious. They appear multiple times a day on Sunset Boulevard and Hollywood Boulevard, so it's right at that intersection. And Patrick, if I may call out a few of my favorites.
You may. I have a favorite as well.
Number 1, Betty Shambles.
That's my favorite one.
She's the new gal in town.
Yes, although I think she's been there from the beginning almost.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the actor who plays Betty Shambles, I believe, has been there since the beginning. But her character, Betty Shambles, is the new gal in Hollywood.
She's so funny. If you see her, you must stop and watch her improv. You'll recognize her by her trademark pigtails and sort of Coke bottle glasses.
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I would be remiss not to mention Dorma Nesmond.
Yes, she's so funny.
Speaking of Sunset Boulevard.
Hey-o.
Aging Hollywood actress, star of the silent movies, Dorma Nesmond. I also love director Oscar Mayer Wiener.
Yes, absolutely. Very funny.
I see him all the time. And another favorite, Dumb, 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 Evie Starlight.
So funny. Such a great voice. You'll hear her a mile away.
And the improvisation skills on these actors is like next level. They clearly know every detail of their character and have the best time with the guests with this back and forth comedy and little routines and skits. It's just hilarious.
They're super funny. They are super quick-witted. They've seen it all. They've said it all. It's really hysterical. And I have to say, sometimes it can be hard to do G-rated improv and still be very, very funny for both kids and adults. And they are perfect at it.
Masters of innuendo.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And masters of outuendo.
Innuendo, outuendo. Good, wicked reference.
So thank you, citizens of Hollywood. We love you.
We thank you for your service. So as we said, we're heading down Sunset Boulevard now, which is inspired by the real Sunset Boulevard in California. This section of the park was the very first expansion to the park, which opened in July 1994. And much like the focal point of Hollywood Boulevard is the Chinese Theater, the focal point of Sunset Boulevard is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
I always get chills when I see it.
It's so cool. It's such a beautiful photo spot. Please get your picture taken here. You'll love it. I promise you. So Sunset is jam-packed with shops, kiosks, roaming merch carts. Of course, as we mentioned, the citizens of Hollywood, and so much food.
Yes, some of it has been lost to the ages, Patrick. The carrot cake cookie, which I believe you might be able to get in the Trolley Car Cafe now, used to be a staple for me when I visited Sunset Boulevard.
You're so forlorn when you say that, and I totally understand.
It was so large, and there was so much frosting, Patrick.
So first up, when you walk down Sunset Boulevard on your left, you'll find the Beverly Sunset Boutique, which mainly sells snacks and Pixar merchandise.
This is where I stop to get all of my Cars merchandise.
Good point. This is exactly where you can find all of it. And then on the other side of the street to your right is Legends of Hollywood, which is another basic general merch store with toys, plush, Mickey ears, and apparel. The exterior is actually really cool. It's designed to look like an old movie theater with a beautiful marquee in the front of it.
Gorgeous at night. All that neon.
It's so beautiful. This park is so beautiful in the day and equally as beautiful at night, if not more beautiful.
I totally agree, Patrick.
Thank you so much. So back to the left-hand side of the street, once you pass by the Pixar merch store, basically, you'll find a pretty overarching marketplace called the Sunset Ranch Market, which has tons of little food, quick service, and merch spots. A lot of little carts are there as well. First, you'll find Anaheim Produce, which is basically an outdoor food market with fruits, waters, Mickey pretzels, frozen margaritas, and craft beers.
You know, we haven't even mentioned yet, Patrick. If you enjoy drinking, man, is Hollywood Studios meant for you. There's always a booze stand or a booze cart within like 10 feet of you.
You're absolutely right. The more I think about it, the more I think you'll find people who are slightly intoxicated here before you'll find them in the World Showcase.
This is where I get slightly intoxicated.
It's really easy to do because there's so many delicious drinks and specialty drinks here as well.
Yes. You'll also find Rosie's All-American Cafe in the Sunset Ranch Market, and that's where you can get a burger. It's also where you can get your chicken nuggies.
Chicken nugdugs.
Moving down a bit further, there's Catalina Eddie's, where you can get pizza or a Caesar salad if you want to be semi-healthy. There's also Fairfax Fare, which is Tex-Mex inspired quick service, and they also have specialty cocktails. And last but not least, we have Hollywood Scoops in the Sunset Ranch Market, and that's where you can get a sundae or a hand-dipped ice cream cone.
Or, Adam, have you had the apple crisp a la mode there?
I have not.
So delicious, you must try it.
I shall.
But Adam, you rudely skipped over one of my favorite places to purchase pins.
Oh, yeah.
The Sunset Ranch Pins and Souvenirs shop, which, fun fact, is where I met Judy from the Disney World promo and vacation planning videos.
That's also where you cried when you met Judy.
Sobbed, openly sobbed.
You were all of us in that moment, Patrick.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's a great place to stop. If you love Disney pins and you love collecting, be sure to stop there. So moving on down Hollywood Boulevard, Patrick, actually, before I mention this, before we move on down, I just want to point out some bathrooms. Now, here's the thing, Patrick. Hollywood Studios always seems to have a bathroom exactly where I need it and when I need it.
Yes, they wisely placed bathrooms wherever you can get alcoholic beverages.
I am never hunting for a bathroom at the studios. I feel like whenever I'm like, oh, I have to go, suddenly there's a bathroom right there.
And they always appear to be in the theme of like a back alley, which I'm super into.
Yes, you love a back alley bathroom.
That was actually my nickname in high school.
All right, so moving down the boulevard, we come to Beauty and the Beast live on stage, which is a covered outdoor Broadway style, I'm going to put that in quotes, Broadway style stage show hosted in the Theater of the Stars. The show lasts about 25 minutes. It opened on the same day as the film in November 1991. And the characters perform to a recorded soundtrack with the exception of Belle and Gaston, who talk and sing live. Patrick, give me your review of Beauty and the Beast live on stage.
It's good. I like it. It needs a little update, I feel like. But I hope it doesn't go away anytime soon. I think it might, if I'm being honest. But it is good. It's fun. It's something to do for 25 minutes. If you can get a seat under one of those large rotating fans, do that because you will stay cool. Otherwise, it is still very hot outside in the theater.
It can get very hot in there. It is a charming show. If you've never seen it, you should absolutely experience it. But Patrick is right. It needs a bit of an update. It needs a zhuzh. It's kind of that old school of theme park show where the human characters are obviously human sized, but then all of the animated characters are also human sized. So there's a scale issue with Beauty and the Beast live on stage.
It's true. But here's what I'll say. If you're looking for a muscle bound Greek god, then go see the show because the man who plays Gaston is not wearing padding, Adam. He is beautifully sculpted and generally has a very lovely voice.
It can't be him every time, right? There has to be like a rotating cast.
I'm sure, but I've never seen it with somebody who isn't authentically very muscular.
I know exactly who you're talking about, Patrick. He has a beautiful voice and he has a beautiful body.
I'm always hoping that his shirt just pops off accidentally. You know what I mean?
That would be one way to plus the show.
There's your update right there. So moving on just a little bit down the road from Beauty and the Beast is where you'll find the entrance to Fantasmic at the Hollywood Hills Amphitheater, which is one of the two main nighttime spectaculars found in the park.
Classic and magical AF.
Magical AF indeed. So this version of Fantasmic opened in 1998. It was the second version of the show, which originated in Disneyland in 1992. And a third version opened in Tokyo Disney Sea in 2011. So this version of the show takes place on a 50-foot rock mountain island, basically, which is overlooking a moat between the island and the audience. The moat itself can hold up to, wait for it, 1,900,000 gallons of water and is anywhere from 1.5 to 6 feet deep.
I can hold 1.9 million gallons of frosting.
Oh, that is a fun fact.
Thank you.
Thank you. The theater itself holds 6,900 seats and an additional space for 3,000 guests to stand. Crazy town.
That is insane. If you want to be sure to grab one of those seats, you should take advantage of the Fantasmic dining package, which we will talk about when we visit the Brown Derby very shortly.
So the show, Fantasmic itself, here in Hollywood Studios, centers around Mickey Mouse, who uses his imagination to visit different characters and movies like The Lion King, The Jungle Book, Fantasia, and The Little Mermaid using projection on water. There's also an onstage battle scene from Pocahontas with Governor Ratcliffe and John Smith. And there's, of course, a villains portion where the evil queen summons Ursula, Chernabog, Frollo, Scar, and, of course, Maleficent, among other villains, which ends, Adam, spoiler alert, with Maleficent turning into the dragon and Mickey shooting her in the face with a fireball.
Not the fireball shot.
No, it is not Hot 100 that is splashed into her face.
Although he could certainly pick up a shot of fireball at any of the booze locations in Hollywood Studios.
Such a good call out. That is such a good, informative call out, Adam.
It's a hell of a show, Patrick.
It is. And of course, at the end, everyone rejoices with Mickey as Steamboat Willie captaining a boat full of at least 6,000 Disney characters with ribbon sticks.
That's right. They all dip their toe into rhythm gymnastics.
It's really magical. Sometimes they all stay on the boat. Sometimes they fall off. You never know.
Patrick, I really love this show. I've seen it a ton. And to this day, I still get emotional when Mickey is standing on top of the mountain in his Sorcerer Mickey outfit and shooting fireworks. There's something about the music in that moment where I just tear up and I can't help it.
I love to do the choreography that dun 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 pow.
Yeah. You're Fantasmic at it.
Thank you so much. So, of course, as we said, there is another version in Disneyland now. And I have to say, I love both versions for different reasons. I think Disneyland's is certainly more updated and has some really lovely special effects. It's a lot more up close and intimate, whereas Disney World's, I think, is more of a spectacle. I think of Disney World as being very Vegas with its Fantasmic show, and Disneyland is more Broadway with theirs.
That's a great analogy.
Thank you.
And it's a must-do, Patrick, right? Like, if you've never done Fantasmic, what's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you, indeed? And they do, fun fact, allow food inside. So if you're looking for a late night snack, grab a chili cheese dog, grab some popcorn, grab whatever you need, and go sit down, grab a seat, and wait for the show to begin.
I don't mean to bring the episode back down again, but that is where I would eat my carrot cake cookie.
Oh, R.I.P. carrot cake cookie.
Yeah, I miss it.
Or R.I.F. Rest in frosting.
Well, Patrick, Fantasmic's next door neighbor is a hotel.
A hotel, you say?
A hotel, I say. The Hollywood Tower Hotel. And in that hotel is a truly classic ride known as the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Indeed, it is.
The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror opened along with Sunset Boulevard in July 1994. It is a landmark attraction, and it is based on Rod Serling's The Twilight Zone. As we've already mentioned, it has become the park icon, replacing both the Eiffel Tower and the Sorcerer Mickey hat.
It's true. In fact, it is the second tallest attraction in Walt Disney World, Adam, at 199 feet. Do you know what the first tallest attraction is?
I do. I did my research. It's Expedition Everest.
At 199.5 feet.
What a size queen.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast. I'm assuming we have, Patrick, but the reason you keep hearing 199 feet or like just around that when it comes to these taller attractions is because if they hit that 200-foot mark, they need to put a red blinking light on the top of it as a signal to airplanes.
Yeah, I think it's either 200 or like 201 feet or something that requires that red light flashing in the sky.
Some interesting history behind the proposed ideas for the Tower of Terror. Disney knew it wanted to do a haunted attraction when it created the Sunset Boulevard expansion, but they didn't know what they wanted to put in it or what the theme would be. But some of the ideas that were pitched would be that it would be based on Stephen King novels, or it would be a Vincent Price ghost tour. And even Mel Brooks pitched an idea to Disney to create a ride around his films. It was also proposed that it be a real hotel and a whodunit murder mystery.
In fact, if you go back to the 1980s, this was originally going to be a part roller coaster, part drop ride in Disneyland Paris, but that idea was scrapped and then, of course, picked up again by Hollywood Studios when they realized they needed another e-ticket attraction.
Patrick, what can I say about this ride other than I absolutely love the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror?
It is a quintessential must-do thrill ride in Walt Disney World for sure.
So well themed, so immersive, so scary. It delivers on all sorts of levels.
That's absolutely true. So the theming, of course, as we, I believe, mentioned, is a 1930s Hollywood-era hotel that, of course, fits in very nicely with the sprinkling of theming throughout the parks. And they have licensed the Twilight Zone intellectual property from Viacom CBS to call it the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. One interesting fact is that Disney knew that they wanted to include Rod Serling into the attraction, but of course he passed away 20 years prior to the attraction opening, so it's pretty likely that he wasn't going to be able to be there, Adam. So instead...
That's how it works, yeah.
That's how it works. So instead, they used archival footage of him from an episode of The Twilight Zone called It's a Good Life, and they hired the actor Mark Silverman to replicate his voice.
That's right. Mark Silverman actually received the go-ahead from Rod Serling's widow. He needed her approval in order to provide the vocal track for Rod Serling.
Absolutely. And it's super spot on. That video is really fantastically done.
It's fun to watch knowing what we just talked about because you can see how clever they are in cutting away at just the right moment and how smart they were to kind of manipulate the film to suit their needs for the attraction.
Speaking of the film, there's a really cute hidden Mickey within it. The little girl who's one of the guests that disappears in the elevator of the hotel is carrying a little plush Mickey Mouse. So the mechanics of this ride are super interesting. Disney had to develop new technology to achieve their vision of the elevator leaving the original shaft and moving through the hotel and through the fifth dimension. The elevator cabs themselves are self-propelled automated guided vehicles, which enable them to move vertically into different locations and into the drop shafts. And once the cab is in the final drop shaft, you enter into a randomized series of drops and launches, along with a random series of light flashes, sound effects, and images of the ghostly original passengers. So guests going on it over and over again will almost always have a different experience when they're on the ride.
When Matthew and I rode it last December, we peed ourselves because it was the first time I ever saw a ghostly image of the girl on the wall.
Yeah, it's really unsettling and super well done. But regardless of which pattern you do get, you will always experience a fake out drop and then a full drop through the tower, which reaches a top speed of 39 miles per hour.
It's fast. It's scary.
It is fast and scary. And interestingly, to create that sense of weightlessness as you're dropping while you're on the ride, you aren't actually free falling, but you're being pulled down. So the cab itself is actually moving faster than gravity alone would allow.
Yeah, I don't know which is worse, falling via gravity or being pulled down faster than gravity will allow you to fall.
Either way, it makes my tummy feel funny.
It's funny in the tummy for sure.
Have you heard that theory? I haven't tried it, but if you hold like a penny as you're dropping and you release it, it'll sort of just stay with you eye level and it'll appear to be floating in front of you.
I'm too terrified to do that.
Yes, same here.
I'm either holding on to something or have my eyes closed or am focusing on not voiding my bowels.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of terrifying, Adam, here's a terrifying fact. When they began construction of the Tower of Terror, they had to move the location because, wait for it, they were on a sinkhole.
Yeah, I read that. I didn't like that.
That makes you want to throw up. That's gross.
Too close for comfort.
Yeah, so just keep that in your mind next time you're on the ride, that it's not the drop that'll kill you, it's the sinkhole.
It's falling into the hellmouth.
Is that a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reference?
Sure is.
Well done, well placed.
Well, let's bid a fond farewell to the Tower of Terror and move right next door to it. And right next door to it, we have Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith.
Yes, the very relevant musical group Aerosmith.
I love their current hit.
Yeah, fair.
It slams.
It's real rockin', Adam. It's real rockin'.
Real rockin'. So Rock and Roller Coaster, starring Aerosmith, is a high-speed launch indoor coaster that contains three inversions and features, of course, Aerosmith's music. It opened on July 29th, 1999. And during that grand opening, Patrick, I thought this was hilarious. During that grand opening, it was an invitation-only party with Aerosmith as the guests of honor. And winners of a contest were taken to the studios in stretch limousines, of course, and were treated to an all-you-can-eat buffet and bar, and then got the chance, after eating and drinking, to ride the roller coaster with one of Aerosmith's band members.
That feels like the worst idea ever.
The ride was shortly closed after that for an extensive cleaning because everyone threw up.
That's a fun fact.
As I mentioned, it's a high-speed roller coaster, and that starts from the very beginning, from the moment you take off, when you accelerate from 0 to 57 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds.
Yeah, it's real intense, and riders will feel up to 5 Gs as they're on the ride.
That's one more than 4G.
That is one more than 4.
That takeoff, Patrick, my heart starts racing when I know it's coming, and to this day, I cannot keep my eyes open, not because I'm scared, but because that wind is so intense. If I don't close my eyes, the rest of the ride is completely ruined by the fact that I'm crying the entire time from my eyes watering.
There is absolutely no way to take an attractive photo on that ride because your face is just sort of slamming against the wind and it's snatched, it's pulled back.
Yeah, you get a real good look at yourself if you were a housewife in Beverly Hills and of advanced age.
A housewife of a certain age.
I would like to put a call out there to all of our Tweedledees. If you do have an attractive photo of yourself from Rock and Roller Coaster, let's see it.
Yeah, let's see that. And feel free to send additional photos because you're probably very attractive in general.
He's asking for nudes.
I am asking for nudes. So there's not a ton more to say about this ride, right? I mean, it's a great roller coaster. It's one of my favorites, I think. But it's a pretty cut and dry ride.
It's a super fun time. It's one of a handful of rides in Walt Disney World with a single rider line, so that's kind of interesting.
That is true, although that single rider line does not serve you well, usually. It's almost the exact same amount of time to get on as a single rider as it is with a friend.
Well, before we move on, Patrick, I just want to mention one more fun fact. This was my very first upside-down roller coaster experience, and you were the one to talk me through it.
It's true. I almost had to lift you onto the ride, Adam.
I was scared.
You were very scared, but I was very proud of you for getting on the ride. And I believe the quote that you gave after getting off the ride was, "I feel like I could punch through a wall right now."
That's right. All that adrenaline. Ooh.
For sure. And that adrenaline never stops. Like I can go on that ride 47 times a day, and afterwards I'm always laughing, and I feel like I could walk through walls.
I try to play it cool, but I am ready to burst after I get off that ride.
I always applaud after the ride comes to a halt.
Absolutely, you have to.
But I'm always then afraid when you're sitting there for so long that the next car is going to slam into you.
Yeah, I don't want to think about the mechanics behind it, Patrick, and like how close the next train of cars is behind the train that I'm on.
Exactly.
I just fly into the darkness, look at the pretty neon signs, and enjoy the experience.
You let Aerosmith take the wheel.
Aerosmith, take the wheel.
So we should say, actually, there's lots of speculation, speaking of Aerosmith, that it will eventually be overhauled and potentially a new band will be in place. My hope is that if it does keep that music theming somehow. Otherwise, the park itself will no longer have that sense of musicality to it, other than maybe some of the musicals, which I associate more with movies.
Yeah, I'm going to make my pitch right now. Rock and Roller Coaster starring Lady Gaga.
I'm into it. Lady Gaga, Beyonce.
Beyonce would be amazing.
Luther Vandross.
Absolutely. Toby Keith.
Peebo Bryson.
Liberace.
Celine Dion.
Don't joke about that. I would freaking love Rock and Roller Coaster with Celine Dion.
Can you imagine? Near, far, just screams. I like it. I'm into it.
All right, Patrick, where are we going next?
Well, Adam, we're going to your favorite section of the park, I believe. Just a little further down from Rock and Roller Coaster, kind of tucked away, is Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we've been to Fantasmic, we've been to Tower of Terror, we've been to Rock and Roller Coaster. How can we top all three of those experiences? Let's go to Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy.
Thank you for your enthusiasm. This attraction opened on March 31st, 2019 as part of the park's 30th anniversary celebration. As I said, it's a little tucked away in the Sunset Showcase Theater. It's about 10 minutes in length, thank goodness. The premise is that the audience are rookie racers, and Lightning McQueen is teaching a class on what he's learned over the years. He's joined by Mater, Cruz Ramirez, and other characters from the Cars series, including his rival, Chick Hicks, who hacks the simulator, and Lightning McQueen challenges Hick in a virtual race.
All of that happens.
All of that does happen. The cool part about this, actually, is that the show uses a wraparound 2-story tall screen that stretches over 200 feet from end to end.
Yeah, as much as I put down this attraction, it is cool, and you do kind of feel that slight sense of forward motion when you're sitting in the theater.
It's really well done, and fans of Cars really like it. Children love it, and it's definitely just something else to do when you can't get on any of the other rides.
Great point. It's also very cool on the inside, and I mean temperature cool. And the Lightning McQueen animatronic itself is actually really fantastic.
It is. I wish it had a better reveal, though. Right now, it's just sort of, guess what's behind this curtain? Oh, it's Lightning McQueen.
Yeah, there should be like glitter cannons or something, something to kind of dress it up, you know?
And right there in the courtyard, before you go into the attraction itself, you can meet Cruz Ramirez, and you can dance along to DJ's dance party.
Yeah, some of those dancers are kind of hot.
No joke. No joke.
In those racing jumpsuits, I like it.
Attraction indeed.
Oh.
I said it.
Well, after all the attractions we've experienced today, Patrick, after all of the drinks we had, we need some food.
We do. We need some food and some more cocktails. Where should we go, Adam?
We should head back up Sunset, take a slight right, and walk straight into the Hollywood Brown Derby.
The iconic Hollywood Brown Derby.
It is truly iconic. It is fine or signature dining. They serve lunch and dinner. Reservations are highly recommended at this location. A meal will cost you about $35 to $60 per adult. The restaurant itself is an authentic replica of the famous Brown Derby, a Hollywood landmark. The walls are covered with caricatures of famous faces, a tradition that began with the original restaurant back in Hollywood.
And a fun fact, that original Brown Derby, which opened in 1929, was the birthplace of the Cobb salad.
That's right, created by the owner of the California Brown Derby, Bob Cobb.
I'm sure he had a real tough time in high school with that name.
It haunted him into his adult years. Did you know that the balsamic dressing that they put on the salad actually contains some of Bob Cobb's tears?
I did know that, Adam. I did know that. They are everlasting tears.
It's a very emotional salad.
True story. True story.
There are some really tasty items on the menu, and you know I love me some dessert, so I'm going to give a call out to the grapefruit cake, which is also a Brown Derby original. It's light, it's citrusy, it's a perfect way to finish off a fabulous meal.
And I, of course, Adam, would like to give a call out to the martini flights that you can get at the Brown Derby. and the whiskey flights.
You cannot call out one without calling out the other. It's like, it would be rude.
It would be rude, and I often get called out of the restaurant after I've had both.
Well, as Patrick mentioned, they are known for their classic cocktails at the restaurant. And as we previously mentioned, back when we were down at Fantasmic, this is where you can get the Fantasmic dining package, one of the locations anyway. You can purchase the package for lunch or dinner. It's $65 for adults or $24 for children, plus tax and gratuity. Some dining plans are accepted. It includes one entree, dessert, and a non-alcoholic beverage, and one voucher for guaranteed seating at Fantasmic in a reserved area. The Fantasmic dining package does not include alcohol. Sorry, Patrick. Advance reservations for the Fantasmic dining package at the Hollywood Brown Derby are highly recommended.
This is one of the most popular places to eat in Hollywood studios, and I would say one of the more popular places to eat in Walt Disney World in general.
We've had varying experiences here, Patrick. You had a not-so-great experience, right?
I don't know if it was not so great. It's just not one of my favorite restaurants. I don't know that the food is forward-thinking enough. It's sort of standard. It's good. It's fine, but it's very expensive for something that I don't really care about in terms of food, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. While it does provide a nice break, I totally get what you're saying, Patrick. But if you need a place to cool off, if you're looking for kind of a more upscale experience, this is a great place to go. And if you're planning on seeing Fantasmic anyway and want to secure really the best seats in the house, you might as well take advantage of the Fantasmic dining package.
Yes, I would echo that for sure. However, here's what I'll say. If you aren't able to get a seat inside, they do have an outdoor Brown Derby lounge with about a dozen tables, so it can be difficult to get in, but if you're willing to wait, I definitely recommend it. And of course, they do have a walk-up bar outside if you'd like to get a martini in a plastic cup to go.
That's the only way to drink a martini.
It is the only way to drink a martini. The food here at the lounge is very limited, but it is delicious. They do serve the Cobb salad, a shrimp cocktail, an artisanal cheese and charcuterie board, and a filet mignon slider. They do sometimes have additional menu items outside, if I'm not wrong about that, like some sandwiches and chips and dips and apps, but you do have to ask for that.
It's a great location. It's fantastic for people watching. And if it's a beautiful day, why not take advantage and enjoy the outside and enjoy that lounge?
For sure. While I don't love the Brown Derby itself, I do love the Brown Derby patio lounge.
We've been there once or twice, PK.
Once or twice. So, Adam, we've shopped till we dropped. We've dropped on an elevator. And we've dropped some shots as well. Is that what they say? Is that what the kids say? We're dropping shots?
Dropping shots. That's what the kids say.
So we're full, we're tired, we have too many bags of merch in our hands. What do you say we stop here and call it a day in Hollywood studios and come back to it in another episode?
I love that idea. And Patrick, you were so right at the beginning of this segment to talk about how much there is to do in Disney's Hollywood studios. We've basically gone down 2 streets and we've already had a ton of experiences.
For sure. When we originally started planning this episode, we were going to do it in 2 episodes. And I can't imagine now trying to fit all of that into 2 episodes, cutting the park in half.
Well, as with our other walks in the park, this has been just delightful and a great reminder, especially now when we can't get to these parks, of how exciting and beautiful and nostalgic Disney's Hollywood studios can be.
Absolutely. It was such a great reminder of how much I really do love this park. Of the things we talked about today, do you have a favorite standout in the park?
For me, it's got to be Tower of Terror.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
What about you?
I would say the martini flights.
Have you ever experienced Hollywood studios sober?
How very dare you? The answer is no. I arrive socially lubricated and I leave in handcuffs.
Well, we would love to hear what some of your favorite experiences are of the things we talked about today. You can reach out to us on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
Or you can leave us a voice memo or email at info@gaysdothed.com.
Have you ever tried to take a martini flight on the Tower of Terror?
I haven't, but now that you're saying it, I should do that.
I heard that if you hold the plastic martini glass up while you're falling, it will stay at eye level with you.
If I'm being honest, Adam, it wouldn't last until I got on the ride. It would be downed in seconds. But I could use the olive instead to do that gravity challenge.
A garnish gravity challenge.
I like it. Look into it, Disney World. We trademarked it here.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Adam.
We've reached the end of the episode, and you know what? That walk in Disney's Hollywood Studios has inspired me. I love talking about attractions like Twilight Zone Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster, and I'm feeling like I might need to imagine queer something myself.
You are such a genius. Let's do an Imagine Queering Quick D.
I think it's very bold of you to invite yourself along on my journey, but I will allow it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So generous.
For those listeners that don't know, Quick D Imagine Queering is when Patrick and I draw the name of an attraction and we gay it up. And as in previous episodes, we are storing the names of those attractions in a Chewbacca mug that Patrick acquired at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
True story as part of the Star Wars Galactic Spectacular Dessert Party.
Sounds delicious. Comes with a souvenir Chewbacca mug when you drink.
You don't even have to drink. You just get the mug as part of your gift.
You don't even have to drink?
I mean, you should drink. Responsibly, of course.
Of course. Well, Patrick, it is time. We need you to reach into Chewbacca's head and tell us what attraction we will be gaying up in Imagine Queering.
Are you ready, Adam?
I can't wait.
It's happening. It's all happening. My hand is inside of Chewbacca. If I had $1 for every time I said that sentence. All right. We are gaying up Soarin' around the world.
Soarin', classic Epcot attraction, classic Disney California adventure attraction. I think it will lend itself well to a gay overhaul, as we as a community typically tend to be light in the loafers and you are flying over things.
It's true. It's true. I'm thinking right away we start with just very attractive, very form-fitting uniforms on some very sexy flight attendants.
I love this idea.
Just like Zach Posen did to the Delta employees, we are doing to the cast members who are working Soarin' around the world.
Yes, but with less poisoning.
What?
I think those uniforms actually made them a little sick. Like people were getting sick from the uniforms, from the fabric or the dyes used in the fabric.
Oh, instead, ours are going to be sickening.
Oh, and you've turned it back into a gay experience.
Hey-oh.
I love this idea. I love attractive people ushering me into an experience. And one would assume that we'd be visiting super gay destinations, right?
One would assume. One would have to assume.
Where? Where are we flying to? Where are we flying to that is so super gay in this amazing world of ours? Palm Springs is one stop.
Yes, we are flying to Palm Springs. We are flying to Fire Island.
Can you imagine flying over Fire Island? All those little gay dudes in bushes that you're going to fly right over.
What are they doing in there?
Trading stickers.
Oh, cute.
That's a euphemism. They're banging it out.
Wow. Aggressive, but okay. An education.
London seems pretty gay. I don't know if it's just the accents, but London seems pretty gay.
Fair, fair. We do have to make a stop in Gay Paris.
Gay Paris, of course. I mean, the Eiffel Tower alone, that's a giant.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. You're not wrong again, but oh, dear.
We'll probably swing down to Greece, because isn't like Mykonos kind of a hot gay spot? Or like the islands, isn't that a hot cruising spot?
It is when I'm there, that's for sure. And of course, all throughout, we're having scents pumped in, like the smell of vodka.
Okay. I was like, where's this going to go?
We all know that lovely aroma of poppers.
Yep, vodka and poppers. I mean, if there was a way to combine those two, look out.
Champagne, that lovely champagne scent that Disney already has.
Smells delightful. Maybe there's like a waft of leather when we fly over the Castro district in San Francisco.
I like this. Yep, I like this. And they've added a spritz in the face, and you never know where it's from, really. It could be anything.
Who doesn't love a mystery spritz to the face?
I can't imagine who wouldn't love that, Adam.
It contains anti-aging properties.
Some essential oils.
What about music, Patrick? You know, Soren is really known for its beautiful soundtrack. The main theme is composed by Jerry Goldsmith. Where are we going to take the music?
Yeah, immediately I'm going with a nightclub for sure.
It's either got to be some serious dance tunes or like classic Broadway show tunes.
See, I was thinking maybe a sweeping orchestral version of a Lady Gaga song, maybe.
Great. I'm all for bringing, as we know, Lady Gaga into the parks in one way or another.
Gaga!
Rain on Me? Come on. Rain on Me is an orchestral composition. Gorgeous.
And it fits in nicely with the spritz in the face that we're all getting.
It's all coming together.
We're all coming together on the ride, aren't we, Adam?
Oh, dear. Oh, my. And how does our experience end, Patrick? Where do we end up? Wherever it is, it's going to be accompanied by a lovely gift bag as a parting favor.
I mean, that's just sensible.
What is the gayest place on the planet? Instead of a fast pass, there's a fast ass.
Oh, dear.
Just thought I'd add that on to the experience.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for plussing up our gay experience, Adam. I think the gayest place I can think of to land is, of course, Elton John's house.
Perfect. We land in Elton John's house to The Bitches Back, covered by Lady Gaga, covered by the London Symphony Orchestra.
Covered in the spritz that we've all experienced on the ride. It's a perfect climax.
And we leave the attraction feeling, a little bit sleepy.
A little tired, but thank goodness we have that Joffrey's Coffee subscription to keep us awake, Adam. Did
you know that one of the flavors you can get is called the homosexual roast?
I did not know that, Adam. That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast. Submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See ya real soon.